Hi, and welcome back to the Denzalist Gaming podcast. Do apologise that I've been a bit late with my next episode. So let's get straight to it. So I'm going to do from 1990 to 1999 of my favourite video games from each year, and then we're going to make a top 10 list and then make an order for them. So let's get straight to it. So 1990, be aware that other countries' releases like Japan was a bit earlier, so I think this is going on like the American release. So I've tried to be as accurate as possible, but I'm just going by general internet information, so you know what it can be like. So with 1990, some of the most important things as well. The Super Nintendo came out, and the Game Gear came out. Game Gear was advertised as this, game-changing thing over the, with all the colours and things like that, compared to like the Game Boy with this lurid, sickly green colour. But it was a battery killer, and like I said, even though it was quite amazing, the technology to fit that in a handheld, it didn't unseat the Game Boy as the the actual true handheld console at the time. So those are two important releases. So the other ones we have in 1990, we have the games of F-Zero, which even though isn't one of my favourites of the series, for what it, for how fast and well done it was at the time with the graphics and things like that, they did a great job on that. Smash TV. Same for a very iconic game. Basically, this sort of futuristic sort of game show where it literally, it's sort of. I watched a video and it was talking about games which predicted the future and sort of, and predicted this reality TV entertainment. And even though we don't murder people, but there is some weird reality TV shows, and this was very much sort of like a satire of it. And it's one of those really difficult games, but really fun to play. Other inclusions of the Secret of Monkey Island, same thing. It was a game I've not really played a great deal because, like I said, I wasn't really much of a PC gamer. It was mostly consoles for me, and another entry is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Even though it's a very weird frigging game, Michael Jackson saves children. I think he gets powered up by his monkey, which turns him into a robot, if I remember right. It's weird, but for the arcade release and that, it was so much fun. And I've got an arcade emulator, and I've got an arcade pad, and it's still really fun to play. It's weird, but yeah, that's really fun. So my top three for 1990 is 3 Michael Jackson Moonwalker, 2 F-Zero, and number 1 Smash TV. So my 1991 is you've got Sonic the Hedgehog, which extremely iconic game, which sort of really gave Sega the strength it was for a long time, before it sort of bowed out of the gaming market, game consoles market, and just started on, you know, publishing games and things like that. So yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. You've got Battletoads. Game I didn't really play, but is known for its ridiculous difficulty. Street Fighter 2. Me personally, I must have played hours and hours of that. Such a great game. And also Micro Machines, another game I played hours and hours and hours on. Simple, fun, especially when you've got a bunch of friends or family. And yeah, really simple. You know, you've got these little cars, and you've basically got to get, you know, whoever's last the screen. So the screen moves forward. So whoever's last gets knocked out, and then you carry on. And it's really fun like that. Very simple, but for the time it was great. So yeah, and the other ones we've got is Speedball 2, Lemmings, another iconic game. I did play a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time is still to this day, you know, acknowledged as one of the best Turtles games, and also Zelda Link's Awakening. It's not one I've played. I know there is a, because I think it was originally a Game Boy game, I think, but it was redone for the, I think for the Switch, but I've not played that yet. So I will eventually. So we shall see. But for now, like I said, my top 3 for 1991 is. Number 3, Micro Machines. Number 2, Street Fighter 2. Number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog. So we will go straight into 1992. This is when the list of games, it starts to eat up, and it makes it a lot harder to choose the best games. So we've got Wolfenstein 3D. Iconic game. Same thing, amazing soundtrack, and the action is non-stop, and like I said, you know, it sort of changed the game, and especially the next year when there's another iconic game which sort of, you know, really sort of stepped up as well. So yeah, so Wolfenstein 3D, we've got Mortal Kombat, another superb game, and still a series going strong today. Super Mario Kart, same thing, another great series, still going strong today. The the Mega CD game Night Trap, which is a cult following for how bad the video capturing and things like that, and the acting is terrible, but it's one of those cheesy beloved games I've not played, unfortunately, but I do want to check out at some stage. Sonic 2, Alone in the Dark, Kirby, Echo the Dolphin, another one, because I was had a Mega Drive. Played a lot of that, very weird game. Lethal Enforcers, another one of my favourite ones. Originally a great arcade game, ported to consoles. Still great, but better when if you had like a light gun. And Super Mario World, which is another absolute belting game. So my top 3 for that year is Mortal Kombat 3rd, Wolfenstein 3D is number 2, and Super Mario World has to be number 1. Like that, I love the fact that, like I said, this was sort of you know, I'd like the mini map, and you know, instead of just going straight from one part into the next world, you know, you had basically like a map to go through, and I thought that was really smart, and yeah, and I think it's still a lot of people's favourite Mario game. So yeah, so we are not dilly-dallying actually. So we'll do up to 1994, and then we'll do the next episode, and then we'll group it all together. So 1993, we had the iconic, and I think it's still timeless. I think you could still play this today and it still be a hell of a lot of fun, and that's Doom. Same thing, like I said, I think it took a different take of what, you know, Wolfenstein 3D did, but it, you know, sort of like amped it up even more, and like I said, you know, and killing demons, and you know, even though you do get to kill Hitler in Wolfenstein, which is, you know, so it depends, and plus as well, you know, you got iconic things like the BFG weapon and stuff like that. So yeah, always love Doom, and I think it's one of those timeless games. Star Fox, same thing. I absolutely love this game. Played lots and lots of hours on. We've got Virtual Fighter, another iconic game. I think it was one of the first ones to sort of you know, use the 3D graphics really well. For, you know, at the time, this was, you know, the strength of what was happening. I think the first FIFA game was out then. Star Wars Rebel Assault, NBA Jam, another one of my favourites, Rock and Roll Racing. So yeah, I think this is where they start getting like some of the really iconic game series, and sort of like I said, you know, from like 92 onwards, this is when we get into the good stuff, really good stuff. So for 93, my number 3 Star Fox, number 2 NBA Jam, and number 1's got to be Doom. So 1994, another great list, Donkey Kong Country. Same thing, not played a great deal of it because it was a bit later. I got a Super Nintendo, but you know, it's still a really great game. And Super Metroid, same thing, but I do like Super Metroid. Tekken, Daytona USA, a game I played lots and lots of. It was very simple, but you know, it was like closest at the time you could get to, like, you know, the American you know, racing and stuff like that. So that was really fun. Ridge Racer, more I think iconic arcade game which ported very well to the consoles, and it's still fun. It says the first Need for Speed game as well. The Elder Scrolls. Like I said, I only got to know Elder Scrolls from Morrowind onwards. So even though I had to put it on the list because it's iconic, it's not one I played, and I assume it doesn't. It's not aged very well because Oblivion looks. Yeah, even the after Morrowind, Oblivion looks very ropey to modern standards, but it's still iconic. So, and Earthworm, I mean, this is a long list. Earthworm Jim, absolutely love that. Virtual Cop Theme Park, which is another one which I absolutely love. And it's really sad what happened to, I think it was Bullfrog, because they made some amazing series, and I think they got just destroyed by EA, I think. Sounds about right. But yeah, theme park was really fun, and you know, and you know, it started into that sort of, you know, for me, into those sim games, you know. I mean, like Age of Empires and sort of Sim City and things like that. I was really into those sort of games when I was younger. Another game I've not played, but System Shock, which is basically, you know, the same people who sort of later did BioShock, and when you look at sort of like original gameplay and things like that, you can see how they cut the teeth with System Shock and System Shock 2, and then made the masterpiece, which is BioShock. So you've got to respect them for that. Killer Instinct, another, like I said, was very different to sort of like a Street Fighter, because it just felt a lot like faster and more outlandish characters, you know, sort of more in the Mortal Kombat sort of style. But like I said, I used to love how, compared to like Mortal Kombat and everything else, it seemed to be able to chain your combo moves a lot more freely than other games. And my brother used to hate it because he used to play this ninja, and he used to get him in a corner. All he did in it for like 2 minutes was move forward once, and I'd do like a 60-odd combo and just destroy him. So good memories for me, not for him. And this was the same year the PlayStation was launched, which I think changed the game. And there might be some PlayStation games in the later list. So this is the last one for this video. Yeah, it's about right, so it should be about 20 minutes each video, each podcast. I mean, I do apologise. So yeah, so for my 94, we have Earthworm Jim for 3, Killer Instinct number 2, and Ridge Racer. Just for, like I said, I think the arcade driving game, and plus as well, you know, the old arcade machines where you actually had, you know, seated in and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I always liked them. But Ridge Racer, I think if I remember, it did have like these white plastic outers, you know, so it looked like an old like rally car, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one. I forget, but yes, but I used to love Ridge Racer, and also, you know, yeah, it was very good. So that is my list up to 94. So we will do the rest on the next episode. So I will list the number ones we have so far, and that's Smash TV, Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario World, Doom, and Ridge Racer. So this is part 1, and part 2, like I said, we'll do 95 to 99, and then we will make our top 10 list. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care, look after yourselves.